is up, YouTube? It has been a minute. Hold up. We're gonna bring it back to something that is dear to my heart and is a constant reminder of where I've came from.
Hey, what's up, y'all? So this is my room. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. This is my entertainment along with this iPad. That's the masks that they're making us wear when we're in the hallway. Let's see, condiments, some snacks and stuff. Technically, that door is supposed to stay shut, but it never really does. And this is where I stay.
Not no more, though. Not no more. What's up, Chicago West? And Mary, good to see you. So, I think I may be done with methadone. Not 100% positive, but I'm down to 2 milligrams. I'm supposed to be picking up my last 1 milligram 2 week dosage this Saturday. But what I've done is gone ahead and started not taking my dose. I started over the weekend, just like I missed one dose. And then next thing I know, it turned into like 2-3 days later, and I realized it had been 3 days since I took my dose. So that night, crazy RLS, restless leg syndrome, could not sleep. So I caved, which was Monday night. So today's Wednesday, back on to day 2, but I have this week off from vacation from work, so I didn't want to wait until I was back to work full time and just have it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, what better time to be done with methadone than on my week of vacation? What place was that, Mary? That was Taunton State Hospital. It's kind of where I started out my YouTube career, if you really want to break it down. It was right. No, actually, I had made a couple of shorts before I ended up in that facility for almost 3 months. It was 55 days. I had to go to court and got Section 35 in Massachusetts, which is drug and mental health. They evaluate your drug use and your mental health status and make a decision of whether you're a danger to yourself or others to put you into a facility against your will. Full shackles in court. It's kind of crazy. I was still facing charges, but from what I heard from other people that weren't facing legal charges at the time, they would still be shackled and handcuffed like criminals, even though there were no criminal proceedings against them, which is kind of weird, huh? Method done with methadone. Bro, it's hard to fathom. Good to see you though. It's hard to fathom. Like I had quit smoking weed for a while. That obviously didn't last too long, but it all started back up with my tooth when I had to get a tooth pulled. The toothache, I was like, I need something for the pain. So I started smoking a little bit here and there, and then it turned into more of a regular habit because I wasn't working out. I wasn't going to the gym. So it's weird, bro. Like, honestly, I never thought that I would be that person. Like, I feel like I'm kind of caught in the in between right now. I don't get along with the squares, goody two shoes people because I don't fit. I'm still like in that environment. Still, people still view me as being like a drug addict and stuff like that upon first appearance, right? But also on the other hand, I still don't fit. I don't fit into the prior group of people that I used to fit in with, because I'm not involved in all that debauchery anymore. So it's it's kind of weird being stuck in the middle like that. No, I don't. Just smoke. Just smoke. Flower, no dabs. And even then, I'd like to not really be smoking because I enjoyed working out when I was working out. So, long story short, I am in the process of getting my teeth fixed. I had to go to Boston. I'm going through Boston University dental school as of right now. I have a consultation at the end of the month to go and get a plan of attack. And I'm going the route where it's not going to be covered by insurance. So, but in the long run, I think it'll be worth it. Like getting implants and getting teeth saved that can be saved. Instead of just getting all my teeth pulled in dentures. Like doesn't seem like, it seems like more of a Band-Aid fix. Like there's going to be issues down the road and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to see how the consultation goes, what kind of plan they have. But it's slow going. Like I made this appointment a month and a half prior to when I'm getting the appointment. It was like a half a month. It was like a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, last time when I was at the place, the dental office for one consultation. And then another consultation I had to make an appointment for. So hell yeah, I will. You already know Chicago West. I kind of do walk to the beat of my own drum. Like I used to try to go to NA meetings to try to get some community support there, like you're supposed to, but I was still California sober, if you really want to call it that. And then I'm on methadone too at the same time. So like both those things, not so much the methadone in my opinion, because it's kind of like the elephant in the room that no one talks about is maintenance in NA because it's a program of abstinence. So couldn't really find my niche there, but I've managed to keep a needle out of my arm and keep all illicit substances out of my body for over 2 years now. So February will be 3 years. And now finally done with methadone, like the doors are just starting to unlock, but the hammer is coming down. Like I'm dealing with the consequences of my prior actions. For example, my messed up teeth because of my drug use. Bills are catching up. The government came knocking looking for some unpaid bills and they want it by the end of the month. So it's like everything's kind of building up for pressure wise, but I understand that pressure is made to mold me into what I'm supposed to be becoming. And that's the best version of myself, which I never really gave myself a chance to become. It's crazy. It's crazy how large the temptation is to just like say fuck it and crash out. I'm not gonna lie. It would be easier to do that because that's my normal. That's what my normal is. As soon as I start getting some good motivation of positivity going ahead, somehow I'll self-sabotage it. Like drinking, for instance, has been on my mind heavy lately. Like it's been hot. Last week at work and stuff, I was like, I should just pick up a 6-pack of beers on the way home. Then my thought process, since I haven't caved into the beers lately, it's been like, oh, I should go grab a half a handle of gin and have some gin and gingers, And it's like, fuck. I can just picture where that's going to lead. It'll lead to exactly how the weed did, just as smoking a joint in the evening to like an everyday reoccurring thing again. I have to face reality, and that's that I have an addictive personality, no matter what it comes to. And that's like basically the key to changing my life, the way that the direction that that's going. Bro, 14 years is, I can't, that's an accomplishment in itself. Congratulations. I honestly can't even comprehend 14 years, but I can look back at when that video that I put up at the beginning of this live, when I was stuck in the mental institution, I couldn't even comprehend a month clean at that point. Like I was just starting to get my shit together back then. And now look, that was over 2 years ago. That was February 2 years ago. I believe it was in February. I'd have to look at the exact date of when I posted it, but I'm pretty sure it was either February or March because I got out of the institution in April. Have a good night, bro. Uh, but it's like all that pressure, right? Of like bills building up over my head, the teeth work and everything. I think that's why that temptation creeps in, because that temptation will creep in right when it could easily seem to slip in and become like just a little nuisance. But in my head, even if I started drinking, like I was already planning out going to buy a pack of cigarettes with the alcohol that I was planning on going to buy out. That's how depraved the addict mind is. Like it'll just go right back to the toxicity, even though I have a good thing going. And I think it's a lot to do with the instant gratification type of world and that I grew up in, that we are living in now, where it's right now, instant gratification, no matter what. That could be gel. That's like from the way that I've heard it described from people that are like highly functioning but teetering on the bridge of like almost mental insanity, is it's a superpower, right? The ADHD. Whenever you can focus on something and put your mind to it, anything can be accomplished. And I think that for myself, I have a little bit of that ADHD and hypersensitivity to things and whatnot. And early on, I didn't know how to deal with that. So I started with hallucinogen. First, it was drinking, smoking a little bit of weed, and then the hallucinogens popped up right away, like doing LSD and all that very early on. Which is not too common. A lot of people don't jump into that early on in teenage years, but that was my path, right? And I rebelled instantaneously, and I think it's because I didn't know how to deal with reality the way that it was being spun to me. So I kind of like overshadowed my quote unquote gifts with social lubricants like alcohol and weed and you name it. I was trying to do it. Looking back now, hindsight's always 2020. It's like other people would be done drinking and I'd still want to go for the whole weekend. Like once the switch was on, there was no off switch. And through this whole process, these past couple years, I've been learning how to balance life like normal people would, not just going balls deep, like you said, into whatever debauchery it may be. That's really what led me down the path that I went with all the hard abuse that I put myself through. Was just that, like, it kept getting deeper and deeper. And I was like, fuck it, I'm this deep now. I might as well go. But there is a spiritual higher power, in my opinion, and that I choose to name it God. Jesus is the savior. Like that became abundantly clear to me. And I ain't trying to spin this live and to get all religious and everything on everyone, but I was spiritually rescued, which is a fact because I was one of the people that was unconvinced I could be saved, unconvinced my life was worth living. And you know how in the Bible it said something like along the lines of Jesus will go and find that one sheep out of the 99. I felt like that. I feel like that sheep, even though it might be a black sheep. Definitely enough. Part of the whole NA program and AA program is that you have to come into a real a relationship with with a higher power, a spiritual higher being. I don't even know exactly how they word it, but early on when I was forced to go to like NA meetings and whatnot, I could never comprehend that spirit. I had no clue about any of that. Yes, I saw it, but it wasn't a reality for me until it was smack dab in front of my face, and I was experiencing it, like spiritual warfare right in my lap, basically. Um, that's just the type of person I am. Like I need overwhelming right in front of me, I guess. Um, and just coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, nonstop. Even when I was in the psych ward, like that's kind of part of what put me there because I didn't know how to comprehend what was happening. You know, they say that if you talk to Jesus, you're praying, but if Jesus talks back to you and you start having a conversation, you're schizophrenic. And I understand that now, you know, like you see people on the corner of busy city streets, street preaching, and it's more and more prevalent nowadays. I think people are reaching out more for a spiritual guide, or maybe the spiritual guide is God is reaching out to us. I don't really know, but it is becoming more prevalent. It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing to be able to see reality for what it is, but it's also a curse because I can see the wasted time in the past, but that's part of this whole recovery process is not dwelling on that. I can remember when I was first getting on methadone, coming on here and chatting and like having a plan. Yes, off the rip, I said I wanted to be on methadone for a year and then I was going to start tapering. It took me like a year and a half to taper, but it almost didn't seem feasible at that time. I was just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. But I think it was also out of desperation. The sunk cost fallacy is a cognitive bias where people continue to invest in a failing endeavor, relationship, or less optimal strategy simply because they have already invested time, money, or effort. Welcome to addiction. I already invested all this time into being a depraved junkie, and I'm going to continue down that road until I can self-destruct. That's the path that I took in my life, but being rescued. Like, but you are right. It's we live in that fallacy of a world where it's like everyone sees the highlight reel of everyone else. You know, the one thing that my recovery process is teaching me, not has taught me because I'm still learning, is not to compare myself to other people and what they've accomplished in their life. Sometimes making it a day without going to the liquor store and buying a handle is a fucking, you deserve a gold medal for that, right? But for another person, that's just another normal day that ends in a Y. But they don't have that same life experience. It's a tough balance, bro. If you really want to know the truth, it's a hard. That's what I mean about it being a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you see what can be accomplished on the flip side of things and seeing reality for what it is. But on the flip side of things, you see how things are and how messed up they are and all the illusions that have been placed in front of us for so long. What's up, Catherine? Good to see you. Long time no see. Hope all is going well down under for you. It has been a while. I'm off of meth. I'm pretty much off of methadone. Still haven't graduated from the program, but that'll be in the next week or so. This weekend, Saturday, actually, if all goes to plan. Hope all is well, though. I was just talking about like how there's this whole, this whole facade that I think a lot of people are coming to realize, but correct me if I'm wrong, I might be the last person to be coming to realize this because I was under my fog of addiction for so long. But there's like a whole nother world out there to be lived on the spiritual side of things, Oh, I know I can do it. And at the beginning of this live, I showed a video from my page that was one of my very first videos from when I was locked up in Taunton State Hospital on the, let's see, at that point, that would have been the 3rd floor. End hallway, had a single bedroom. To be honest, I've been putting some thought into, because when I first started watching YouTube for things other than music specifically, I gravitated towards storytelling. I would listen to people that just listen, not even watch, right? To people that were telling stories. And a lot of them were drug oriented stories, debauchery and stuff like that. Rest in peace to Ryan Leone and Luke GTV. That's another one. Those are 2 people that lost their lives to the battle, But I got stories for days, going back to like the teenage years and starting there. But I just haven't really figured out whether I want to do it chronologically and start at the beginning or not. That's really my main catch right now, what I'm stuck on. I guess just start, right? But just like break it up into segments, They were my teenage years from elementary school, getting bounced around, going to a Catholic elementary school and then coming back to public school. And hindsight's 2020, I can see a direct correlation in the time that I left my Catholic school, came back to public school and was with all my friends. Debauchery followed. A couple years later, I had my first DUI as a teenager without a driver's license. And it just went downhill from there. I jumped off the porch early, was out just creating havoc. And I got stories upon stories about all that I can remember more and more clearly every day. And that's one of the hardest parts about getting clean, is having to make amends for all the horrible shit that went on in the past 20 years, we'll call it. Trying. It's not easy to stay healthy, especially in this day and age. It costs money. But work-wise, work's going well. We have this week off, paid vacation, which is a good thing because I think a lot of the crew is ready to boil over and go at each other. It was pretty hot last week when we worked. The heat index was like up to 110 one day. So we cut out a little early that day though. That's about it other than getting the grill fixed, which is a long process, you know. You look at some people that are in the social media space that have had their teeth fixed and it seems like that happens overnight, you know. But it really does. Well, not for me, it's not. I guess it's all money, you know. I'm sure if I had $50,000 or something to drop on a grill, then I could probably get some pronto service. But I don't have money like that to drop on a grill. That house is huge. I don't know what people do with houses that big, but it's 8,500 square feet, 8,500 square feet. I think it has like 6 bathrooms in it. Had 66 windows in the house, literally, which is kind of weird. So, you know, 66 windows, 6 bathrooms, six, like, just saying. Yeah. House next door, which is like half the size, went for $3 million, I think. A family from California moved into that one. But this one, I'm gonna guess is gonna go probably around 7.5 million, anywhere from there to like 10, I guess. I don't know. My mind can't comprehend that type of money, so I just figure like what's another million? But like for instance, the house next door that sold for around 3 mil. That family spoke with the realtor via FaceTime and looked at the house via FaceTime from California. They were in California. This house was in Massachusetts. And they looked at the house via FaceTime and bought it through not through FaceTime, but a sight unseen, which is just wild for me to comprehend. But I also don't know the ins and outs of the contract that they signed. So they might have signed after, right, when they got to Massachusetts and actually saw the house. I don't know. But rumor has it that they bought the house sight unseen via FaceTime, which is crazy because you got to have a good relationship with that realtor and put a lot of trust into that realtor that they're not like hiding some cracks in the corner or some, skeletons in the closet, pun intended, for real. But yep. That's like the whole North Shore area of Massachusetts is the area that I've been working. And there is a ton of history there and a ton of money there. They just keep cramming houses in and cramming houses in, and they get more extravagant. People trying to one up each other, peacocking all around the place. It's wild, for real. I don't know. I'm not the type of person to say must be nice because I know a lot of people earn their money, and I'm not jealous in any way. More money, more problems, If you want to run a business for yourself and make a good amount of money, there's going to be sacrifice that has to come with that. And that most of that sacrifice is time. You have to put everything into that company, all your time. Bidding work, and at least for the first few years starting. And that's always why I've been an employee my life, all my life up until now. Still am, but is because I didn't want to take on that responsibility. I wanted to be take the minimal, the bare minimum, like make it by, you know. So it's kind of crazy to have a changing mindset of that, but no cigarettes. It's been for a while. I posted the last short that I posted when I threw all them cigarettes in the toilet was the last day that I smoked a cigarette. So that's going well. But like I was saying earlier, if I was to get some liquor in me, that no telling where that's gonna lead. That's definitely cigarettes is the least of my worries for real. Mary, thanks. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello and listening. Not much of an update, but it's all slow going. Like I'm finding that's it. It's the journey that matters. It's not about the prize at the end. Like eventually, I will get my little things start coming together, and then over time, those little things build up into bigger things, and I don't even recognize the change. But I have gained 30 pounds in the past few months. I was going to the gym every single day, but like this live is titled, "Hammer Down." I gotta get back into the swing of things. I notice how detrimental on my health the abuse that I put my body through is nowadays. Like how fucking sore I am waking up in the morning, part of my French, but for real. The aches, the pains, my legs are scarred, my hands are scarred, like, but they all tell a story. And anytime I get bummed out or anything like that, they're reminders of like, I'm still here. Speaking of which, I just lost another friend less than a week ago to a sudden, unexpected death, 2 years younger than me. It's crazy. And that's the second one in the past month, I want to say, month and a half. It's like I'm literally one of the only ones left out of my friend circle that continued all that debauchery. So there's got to be a reason for that. God's got a plan. But I appreciate each and every person that stopped in to listen, commented, all that good stuff. But I'm going to check on out of here. Y'all have a wonderful night. Peace.